Hello.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Darren.
Hi.
I'm Clara.
Hi, Clara and Darren. Excellent. Hey, guys.
So I see three people. Is that all that's here now?
Yeah, and Crystal must be joining.
So far.
I'm so sorry about before, guys. I don't know what happened.
Can't hear you, Sarah. Oh, there.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just telling Crystal's trying to join on. How are you guys doing? I'm so sorry about before. It was said the weirdest thing.
It's all good. These things always glitch.
Isn't it funny? I know, right? Crystal's
Yeah.
having a hard time getting on too. So tell me a little bit about yourselves. Starting with you, Darren, since you're on there.
So Sarah, you're going like totally echoed. I can't make out what you're saying now.
Wobbly,
Going,
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. About myself. Well, where to start? Yeah, I'm interested in taking this or joining with the group and whatever I can make happen. Been around a lot of physical healing and yoga, meditation, a lot of that stuff with health issues, and learning how to heal myself and help other people on their way, and really enjoy the meditations at Crystal's place and learning from her. So
Oh, awesome.
feels pretty exciting.
Can you hear me a little
I'm
bit?
on the call, by the way, in the black window because I'm in my car and it's dark. How's it going?
Hi.
Hey, Crystal.
You're in work mode.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, so yeah, and how about you, Clara?
Hi, I'm doing okay. I'm looking to learn more about energy healing so I can heal myself and some stuff that I've been dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Move on to help others as well who've gone through the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I have a business. I have two businesses that I'm running right now. One is companion care for seniors. The other is in energy and gas and electric.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've been talking to Crystal and going to some of her stuff, which I want to participate more in. And I'm really interested in also the higher energies and cleansing and clearing. Yeah.
Well, thank you. So
Thank you.
I'm really happy to see you guys. I asked Crystal McKinnell, I said, maybe it's a good idea if they meet me and they can ask me questions themselves. I know because it's kind of weird to maybe come to a class and not know the person because you guys have created a relationship with Crystal. But I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have or talk about whatever you want so that you can kind of get a bit more clarity on what's happening, what's going on with you, what do you guys want, what can the mystery school offer you, etc.
Okay, so I guess my question is Crystal, and I think we talked on the phone before, is this weekend, if I can make it happen, that is more like it's like self-mastery and like self-development first.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because the energy training I've taken, which is called integrative chakra therapy now, they started off with that it's about self-development first, right? And then if you choose to put it out to the world or do it with something else, that's a possibility there. So we're basically learning, this is initiation into the mystery school, and anything we want to take further after that, this is like kind of the stepping stone, eh?
Yes. So,
okay, cool.
So I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel after the life activation, and maybe what do you know about the life activation? Because I'm definitely, my friend has come to say hi. What do you guys know is the life activation? Because I think that's maybe a good place to start, because I think both of you have had the life activation, right?
No, neither one of them.
Oh, okay.
Only Eric has. I seen Eric signed on to the call. Are you there, Eric?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So on the call, Eric's the only one so far that has.
Okay, great. So let me talk about the life activation. Eric, how did you feel from the life activation?
Honestly, at the time, I didn't really notice much of a tangible difference before or sorry, afterwards. I think I was going through a lot of stuff personally at that time in my life too, so maybe I wasn't like as receptive to like the whole experience as I would have been at other points. Maybe the changes were more like subtle in a lot of ways, but I guess I was I had like this expectation in my head of like what I thought it was going to be, and it wasn't that, you know. So yeah, it was really hard for me to say. Definitely the other work that Crystal's done with me, like in terms of the cord cuttings, has been much more tangible for me. But yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing. And Crystal, how about you?
When I got my life activation, it completely changed everything in my life, like immediately. I felt like I had purpose and direction. I had a huge sense of clarity of like what things I was doing in my life that were serving me and what things weren't, and also what relationships were serving me and which ones weren't. And I just I had trained in healing modalities for probably 10 years before I met you and did my life activation. And this is what really rang true to my soul, where I wasn't feeling like I need more after this. It was like I need more mystery school stuff, but I was more like actually feeling my soul. I felt that on a deeper level than I ever had before. And, it's been, I think, 6 years since I got my life activation, and I'm still seeing things come up in my life as a result of doing it after that many years.
Yep. Awesome. So, okay, good. Okay, this is a good place to start. So do you guys have questions about the mystery school first that we can talk about, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the life activation?
So what you guys say, like this originated like way back, like thousands of years ago, and like the mystery school was kind of hidden from the public, and it's like a gathering of teachings, or did it kind of all start at one point?
Okay, good question. I'm going to address that. Any other questions?
No, I think that's a good one.
Top of my head, no.
That's a good, okay.
And I'm also teaching 7 mystery schools on Wednesday. So for an expanded version of whatever Sarah's going to tell you now, you can join on Wednesday.
So I'm just trying to kind of connect with you guys and see where's a good place to start. From the 3 of you on the call, plus Crystal, I feel that each of you have a really, that you've been able to see through the illusions of the world pretty easily. And I think that for those of us that can do that, that makes things harder than it does easier. And we go searching for something greater than ourselves, and we seek for understanding, and we want to know what's going on. And when the illusion gets ripped away from us, we start to experience all kinds of feelings and emotions. And the mystery school has throughout time been hidden mysteries to help people find enlightenment in their life. And so the mystery school is not dogma. It's not even a place to find healing modalities. That's only one part of it. The mystery school is a path for each person to find self-mastery. And whatever a person's personal mission is, the only person that knows that is them. And everything that we learn in the mystery school helps us to let go of our own illusions, of our own mental programming, to work with our own intuition and psychic abilities and the angelic forces around us to help us achieve our personal life mission. When we are life activated. Oh, do you have a question, Darren?
No, I'm just scratching my head.
Oh, so was that a hand going up? Okay.
Going up, yeah. I use my hat to finish my head like this. So.
Cool beans. Okay. When we're life activated, this is So King Solomon, and Crystal will explain this all on Wednesday, but 3,000 years ago, the lineage holder of the mystery school was King Solomon. And he collected
King Solomon. I'm not familiar with Bible stuff, so I'm not too sure not too sure who he is exactly.
Oh yeah, and Crystal can give you more of that information. But apart from the Bible, the King Solomon was the lineage holder of the mystery school, apart from Christianity.
Yeah.
And so King Solomon brought together 300,000 shamans from all over the world, and they brought their magic together. Because King Solomon knew that there would be a time in history when there would be a massive global awakening of consciousness. And that is the time that we're in now. And King Solomon and his 300,000 shamans, they were trying to find the life activation, which is the key to connecting the physical and spiritual DNAs together. People in the world, and I'm sure you see this all the time in your life, people are really suffering under the weight of their own personalities and the illusions of the world. I don't know why I keep using that word, but I am. People have been programmed from a very early age on what to think and what to do and what to choose, what vocations, what they care about. And people are very, very sad because most people don't have that connection to the higher self all the time. We tend to have a connection with our higher self when we're in a quiet contemplative state and we're being creative, or we're meditating, or we're in prayer, or we're maybe sometimes doing yoga. Even when we're just staring at a wall contemplating and we're quiet enough to feel that connection. But we need the embrace of the higher self consciously when we're in traffic jams, when we're irritated, when we're pissed off at our friends. We need that constant connection. When we're life activated, the higher self is with us and all the time. We don't need to connect to the higher self anymore because that connection is made. Now, Eric, it's really common what happened to you, because when the lights start to get turned on in our lives, we start to become aware of what we actually don't like. We start to see, man, I actually have issues around this. I have issues around relationships. I have issues around money. I have issues around being passive aggressive or whatever it is. And the light starts to ask us to be better. Now, when someone's life activated and they start to feel a pull and a calling that there must be more out there than what books can teach me. There has to be more out there than just this 3-day course. There has to be more. There has to be a path that I can continuously walk to find my own truth. And the Empower Thyself initiation is in our tradition, our lineage, is the first step on that path, where your higher self is no longer an entity that is something you connect with, but the higher self is actually anchored in the physical body and becomes who we are. And that's why so many people have such profound changes after the Empower Thyself class initiation, because they finally kick the negative ego out of the driver's seat of their own life, and the higher self in the physical body, fully conscious, starts to take over. So I felt like that was a good place to start. Was that helpful? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, that made a lot of sense, for sure.
That was good. Thank you. No, it was great.
You're welcome.
What if you feel like you have a blockage, like energy block, something that's negative that you can't, that happened like through a meditation or something?
What about it? What do you mean? What do we do?
So even now I struggle with meditation. I struggle with doing my art. I feel blocked and stuff, and I'm trying to get rid of that. Feeling that. Will it help with that?
It's a really good question. We all have blocks. I'm sure every person on this call, including myself, we can all see things that block us from expressing our highest self and our highest light, right? I'm sure every one of us has at least something that we can think of.
Yeah.
Right? Just maybe one, maybe just one. Think about playing a video game. Has everyone here played a video game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric, one or two video games, my friend?
Just a couple.
Okay. So who wins a video game?
Well, not me all the time.
But when you win, who wins the video game?
You do.
You win.
Yeah.
So in answer of your question, Clara, our life is one, like my husband said it so good, our life is just one video game. And every the end goal, like the biggest Bowser of them all, is enlightenment. That's what we're reaching. We want to be a person who has no weakness, who cannot be influenced by the negative ego, someone who truly is pure light. Whether we achieve that or not is another thing, but that's what we're striving for. So we put out no evil. We are only good. And we all have roadblocks to that version of ourselves. And so it's a great question. What do we do when we have blocks? It's a really big question that does not have one answer. But the only answer I can give you is that we have to be the ones that overcome it. And there's lots of healings we can do. There's tools that we can give you. But the Empower Thyself class, what it's going to give you is it's going to start to give you awareness of how the negative ego keeps you in fear of overcoming these mental blocks. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Yes.
not, because you haven't done it, but you can understand the concept.
Yes.
Because when the light of the higher self comes in, all of a sudden, it becomes so much easier to discern if the voices in your head and the feelings in your body are coming from the negative ego, your subconscious mind, or if they're really from your higher self. And as you keep walking your personal path, there will always be more blocks and more things for you to clear. But you're stronger, you have more tools, and you will overcome them. Now, the beauty of being on a lineage, there's many, many beautiful things about being in a lineage. One of them is the power and purity that comes with the lineage itself. 2 is all the tools that you're given. And 3 is this very real, very powerful angelic force that keeps you in balance. So what I mean by that is when you see a lot of amazing people in the world, they often fall because of their own devices, right? People, they fall in their lives because of their own fears and their own doubts and their own arrogance. But when you're in a lineage, you constantly have forces that are getting you away from arrogance or getting you out of your fears or over your doubts. And so, that's for you, Clara, there's lots we can do. There's so many healings we can do. There's lots of tools I can give you. But ultimately, we need to put the tools in your hands so that you can be the one to discern exactly what the issue is and that you can deal with it. Yeah?
Hence it being called Empower Thyself.
Right? It's a frustrating answer. I appreciate that. But when you do it, God damn, it feels so good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Because if you choose to get initiated, I'm going to be your guide. I mean, I don't know if that's a scary thought or not, but I am always here to help you have a different perspective, because oftentimes when we have a block, it's because we're looking at it head on. We're only seeing one angle of a problem, and a guide's job is to constantly give you a different perspective to see. And I will always force you to find your own answers. Yeah. Because there's a really beautiful bond that happens with a guide and their initiate. We create this beautiful link, you and I, and it's, it's my job to help you, when you're going through things.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not alone, and this is kind of cheesy. I feel like the angels are here because I'm just all of a sudden got freezing. But again, the inner chills. But whenever I sit and I teach an Empower Thyself class, I have to hold back tears because, and not because I'm super cheesy, I am, but because I know exactly what the people in front of me have gone through to get into Empower Thyself class. When someone gets initiated, they take on a ton more power. And the angels have to test you to see if you're worthy of that power, which means that you will do good things with it. And so I know that anyone who's considering initiation and or makes it to initiation has gone through a lot of hard things in their lives. And that you've overcome. And that no matter when the choice was given to you, do I choose evil or do I choose good? Ultimately, you've made a commitment to be a good person and to do good in the world.
Yeah.
So part of the process, at least through my own experience through training in energy work, is it brings up your stuff or brings up your shit, right? And that stuff comes up because you're ready to deal with it.
That's right.
When you say blocks, I got plenty of them, and I know some of them are still there, but it's just like, from what I experienced through going through this kind of stuff or any like real spiritual practices, it brings up your shit. And a lot, it's not all you know, flowers and daisies, right? But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually explain it like a bar. Has any of you been to a bar before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The DJs, right? Okay, so you know how like at midnight, at 1 a.m, a bar looks really sexy, and you're like, wow, this place is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, all the lights, I'm just vibing. It's, you know, so beautiful, and like everyone's so good looking, and then all of a sudden the lights go on. And you see how all the tables have beer stains on them. There's beer all over the floor. The walls are a horrible color. That's usually what happens when the light gets turned on. We get to see our beautiful strengths, but we also see where in our own lives we have invited chaos into our own lives. You know, and then we have to start to kick it out and be like, oh man, like I don't want you here. And you know, especially even as simple as Crystal's sacred geometry class, the sacred geometry class starts to teach you that as gods, we create every single piece of our lives. And the sacred geometry, those attunements start to, you know, maybe even Darren, the work you've done, or Clara and Eric, that you've already done, is that when we work with sacred geometry, we start to create a life of peace, organization, harmony, balance. And Darren, you're right. When the light gets turned on brighter and brighter, we start to see and become aware where we have personally allowed chaos to live in our own lives. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes it's been forced on us, you know, that sometimes happens, and we also have to forgive that and move on.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what else you got for me? Bring it on.
What is the dates that you're doing the workshop?
So the initiation is on the 26th and 27th of January. So that's, was that 1, 2, 3 weekends from now? I think, yeah. Yeah. Oh, guys, don't judge me. I have 3 cats and they cannot leave me alone.
Yeah.
My husband has told me if I get 1 more cat, he's leaving me.
What's that?
I don't think he's joking.
I don't think I have any more questions, but I really like the explanations you're giving us. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's just so much I can talk about. Like I cannot begin to tell you, you know, when I found the mystery school, I was a shell of a person. I mean, my life was literally one epic shit show after another. And I think the world really wanted to prove how tough I could be. And when I found the mystery school, I honestly feel like I found it crawling on my hands and knees. And I realized that myself and nobody else is actually looking for joy. And people are unfortunately fall into this, you know, self-help categories of, you know, they need things external to themselves to have joy. And so much of my own learning has been letting go of the things that block my joy. Because I am truly perfect deep down. I am God. I am all things. But I need, you know, through this path, it has taught me class by class, day by day, every day I do my rituals, every day I constantly work in service to myself and others, that I start to let go of all of the things, all the lies I accepted of myself, so that I can truly emerge as strong as I possibly can be. Because, you know, I really aspire to be that light. I aspire that every person I touch, I leave them better than when they found me. You know, I that's what I want. I want to be a safe place for people. I want to have joy all the time. And, you know, after 10 years of studying with the mystery school, I can genuinely tell you that that's how I live my life. I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty darn happy. Yeah.
That's very inspiring to hear.
Yeah. You know, and you know what I love about the mystery school too? Is that, like, you know, when you see people come in, so every person that gets initiated has already mastered one thing. So when you come to initiation, you've already mastered something. And as you keep, you know, training with the mystery school more and more and more, you can't lean on the things that you're good at. You have to walk into being uncomfortable. So some people in the mystery school are great with money, and they, you know, and some people are great, they have great physical health. Some people are very emotionally stable. Some people are great communicators, but they lack in other things. And as I found, like, as we keep walking, we really get pushed to be good in all things. We get, you know, the light starts to push on us so that we do have healthy relationships, and we do have healthy communication, and we do get good with money, and that we always live on our joy, and we truly have what we want. And you know, Eric, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I hope that I can be inspiring. If I'm not, then I'm doing something wrong. When I look at our lineage holder, I don't want to be him, but man, I want to live my life like him. You know, he does not live by other people's rules. He has a life that, I mean, even one of the many things that he does in his life is a huge accomplishment. And this man lives completely a multi-dimensional life. And he's 100% genuine. And he's like 100%, he's 100% a husband. He's 100% a father and a grandfather. And, you know, he makes movies for, you know, Disney, and he owns his own music producing company. He, like, the biggest names in Japan want to make music with him, and he runs the mystery school, and he truly does live that life. And when I look at him, I say, that's what I want. I want to inspire others. I want to heal them. I want to light them up. And ultimately, my goal is world peace. And I know I can't do that by myself. And so all those years ago, I made a commitment that I would go across Canada, and I would find every single soul who has a mission to save the world. And I'm going to find them, and I'm going to put these tools in their hands so that they can go out into the world and make the difference they're supposed to make.
Bam!
Awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's you guys. That's you.
Yeah. And even like the way you talked about the life that you're living now and how you're living it, it's like when I reflect on it, I've definitely had periods, although like short periods of my life, where like I really felt like I was living in that joy and purpose, you know, and it felt amazing. But then like shit would happen, my life would get crazy, I'd lose it, and then I feel like I'd spend so much time, it's just like, it's like chasing this high, you know, and then like I'd get really frustrated when I couldn't get back to it.
Totally.
And then that would just make things worse for me. And then you know, so I want to have that consistency.
Yeah. Yes. We have to find that stability, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's no surprise that you found Crystal, right?
Oh yeah, we've been good friends for a long time.
Right? Yeah. Crystal's a really good inspiration for that also.
Yeah, Crystal's helped me immensely in my life, for sure. Immensely.
Totally.
I love you guys all so much, and I really truly see you for who you are, and I see the amazing things you're going to do for the world, and all I want to do is hold space for you to do that, and light the fire underneath your ass so that you step into your power now, because you deserve that.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
Yeah, I mean, the whole like angels and other beings things, like just part of my programming or my past experience, I do believe in that, but sometimes I still struggle with it. But in the last 24 hours, some really interesting things have been happening for me for like starting back yesterday morning to today. And it's just like, I can really feel that right now. So, I mean, that's very, very interesting to me, because that's another thing of me like being more open to and accepting and bringing into my life, and, you know, believing every day instead of believing it more one day than another day. It's just like, I don't know, but it's,
yes.
I can definitely feel that. So I'm excited to, depending what I do with it, I'm excited to meet you there. So thanks for coming through.
Oh my God, of course. And you know what? Some of our most beautiful lessons is when we keep walking forward, even though our faith falters. You know, that builds so much beautiful, just so much beautiful strength in us, you know, to keep going. Yeah.
Having faith isn't easy, that's for sure, but it's day-to-day progress. Yeah.
That's right. And it's not easy. And, you know, I feel like the three of you really want to help others. And we really, you know, as initiates, I'm trying to figure out what to say and what not to say. But when you become initiated, you start to, as I mentioned before, you start to hold a lot more power. And as you overcome things in your life, you actually are creating energy on the planet for other people to get through that easier and faster. And every lesson that we learn, we have created a safe space in our energy field for someone else who's going to go through that to come in. So it's such a magical life after initiation. I just can't tell you. I mean, life is magical with or without initiation, but when initiation happens, nothing in your life anymore is by chance. Every piece of your life is pure magic. Whether it's a really tough time or, you know, it's easy breezy, you're constantly being trained by the hierarchy of light to live your purpose. Yeah, and Crystal knows when you hit a rough patch, you just call me, and I have this really great way of making you feel better.
Every time.
Right? I'm like that doctor that has all the good jelly beans, like not the crappy colors, but the good ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
A really big thing that I noticed in my life after I did Empower was, like, before that, I thought life was just happening to me and I was just doing my best to deal with it or cope with it. But after I did Empower, it was like I had tools that I could use every single day, that I did use every single day. That even if I'm feeling like shit or I'm feeling depressed, or, you know, if I want to slip back into the depths of drug addiction, I make a magic circle. I go in, I do my rituals, I call on my beings, and I step into my God power. And it's like, it just reminds me of who I am. And anything that comes my way, I've been able to deal with and not just cope because it's happening to me, but because I have stepped into my own power and I have the ability to choose what I need to do to overcome that situation, which just makes me stronger and gives me more power to help others.
Exactly. Can I read you guys a quote?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. This comes from the book 21 Lessons of Merlin. I don't know if you guys have read that book. It's great. The true definition of magic does not center around spells or incantations. No. As recorded in the Blue Book of our forefathers, true magic is the art and science of changing states of mind at will. As we have learned by experience, action follows thought. And I guarantee you that in your life, you've probably found that your own mind has always been your worst enemy. And just like you mentioned, Darren, about the wavering faith, and Eric, you mentioned with the instability in our lives, you know, there's openings in our mind where we've allowed doubts and thoughts to creep in that keep us from having what we want, right? Does everyone feel that? Everyone's experienced that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So real magic is to be able to master your mind, is to truly master your mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Do any of you guys interested in intuition?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I was teaching the same class that Crystal teaches, the spiritual intuition, And I asked them the question. I said, when do you think that you're acting as your higher self in the physical world? And they didn't really know how to answer it. And I said, well, you're acting as your higher self in the physical world when you are acting out of intuition. So, part of this path is also to learn how to truly find stillness. Because it's the chaotic mind that causes us to go off course. Yeah. And so the whole second day of the Empower Thyself class is my favorite. Not to have favorites, but I do love it, because the whole second day starts to dismantle what is a negative ego, what is the personality, what is the higher self, what is the mind, how does the mind work, how does a negative ego try and control the mind, what is the subconscious, how do we get rid of the things in the subconscious, etc., etc. It's such an empowering and enlightening day. And everyone walks out of there feeling super good. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like just what I need right now, for sure.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with the power of the lineage behind you after you get initiated, you never really feel alone.
No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's some pretty crazy stuff that happens in the school, like the magic is real. There really is.
Totally.
I was like I said, I really have worked so hard on myself, and I really have sacrificed so much in service that I really have a life now where I really am genuinely enjoy almost all of the time. But I hit a really scary patch about 3 weeks ago. And I hadn't felt this way in years, and it wouldn't go away. And even though I was doing my rituals, I was so apathetic. I didn't want to do anything. And that for me is a scary thing, because I love my purpose. I love what I do. And to not want to get up and do it was a really scary thing for me. But my regular rituals weren't working. And I remember one night I couldn't sleep, and I just sat in prayer, and I literally spoke to our lineage holder, in my mind. And I said, I need your help. I'm crying. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And it sounds so cheesy, but I felt utter peace fill my body. And the next morning I woke up and I did 2 hours of rituals, and all of the apathy was gone. And I was back to my normal self. So it's just what Crystal said. It is so empowering. It's just like being a person that's really well versed in self-defense. You just have a different kind of confidence as you live your life, right? Because you're like, I know how to beat someone up or take away a gun if I need to. And at the same time, it's so, so, so empowering to know that if your mind tries to take you out, you have tools far greater than anything that could ever try and take you down. And that you don't have to succumb to these forces, that you really can always be in the state of mind that you want to be. And that includes how you treat people. When you're in a bad mood, how do you run your energy? How are you interacting with people, especially, your partners, your loved ones, your money? How are you managing that? How are you managing the physical world? Is it under your control? And if it's not, that's what these tools are for. Yeah. So I don't want to talk your ears off forever, but is there any other questions?
No, I'm good. I
At the
really
moment.
Yeah, not for now, for sure.
And everybody that's on the call here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did it right before Super Bowl weekend. I was like, oh man, she's doing it Super Bowl weekend, but it's the week before.
The universe provides.
Oh no, I wouldn't want to do that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to know that if you have private questions for me, you can absolutely, Crystal can give you my number. You can text me. Never, ever, 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 ever let money be a reason not to do something. Miracles can happen, and I'm always really flexible, but I also know that it's anything can happen. And I really just, I just want the people that are here to change the world to have these tools so that they can do everything they're doing now and more and more and more.
I want to change the world.
Yeah, right?
We're gonna.
Go, Clara, go.
Yeah. So.
Excellent.
Well, yeah, so if you don't have my number already, I think Crystal will give it to you, and just message me, and we'll figure something out. And I really, really hope I can see you. My husband says hi to all of you. He's an interesting guy, that guy. Oh, man. He's a guide now, too. He got initiated 3 years ago. He was he doesn't mind me saying this. He said it all a million times, but he was a really big drug addict and alcoholic and had a really tough time. And now he goes also around Canada helping people with addictions and helping them to overcome them. And this
awesome.
This stuff really works.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for the call, and thanks for breaking it down for us. That was really helpful.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, reach out to me this week, okay? Let me know how you're feeling.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. We'll do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll facilitate the conversations for you guys and send Sarah's number and whatnot. And thank you so much for joining. I love all of you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you, Krista.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.